Tonight on the CBS.
Tonight on CBS News, this special presentation on why Alvin shot Dave Seville.
I got so sick of how Dave kept treating me and Theodore and Simon. I just cracked. I couldn't take it anymore.
It's coming on next here on The Late Movie on CBS, so stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Tonight on the CBS.
It has been proven that the more aerodynamically styled a vehicle is, the easier it slices through the air. And now, Ford brings you the age of Aerostar. Aerostar, the most aerodynamic design in its class. Aerostar. It's easy to get in, easy to drive, easy to stretch out in, easy to handle, easy to park. Aerostar. It just makes life a little easier. Aerostar. Ford Aerostar.
Nothing burns me like running all over a discount store hunting for something. Hello out there. No help in sight. But today I'm at there looking for something when I spot this customer service phone. I pick it up, and this really nice person tells me to look one aisle over. Save me running all over the store. And if I'm going to be running around, I'd rather be running around up here. We like to make
Look, Dave, I've had it with you. We tried everything to get this record recorded. Every single time we start arguing about this, I'm really fed up with it.
Look, Alvin, I mean, if you're not happy, there's the door. Get out, okay? Because, I mean, we're here to make money, and we're not here to argue about what you want to be recorded on the record and what we know has to be recorded.
So that's the way it is, huh, Dave? It's either your way or the highway, huh?
Okay, listen, this is the control room. Let's cut out that argument, alright? Let's get on back to recording. We gotta get this thing done. Very good, Simon.
Naturally.
You were smooth, Theodore. Alvin, you were kind of flat. Watch it. Alvin?
Tonight on CBS News, a special 20th anniversary report on the real reasons why Alvin the Chipmunk shot down Dave Seville in 1965. This event has been suppressed by the government and by all the major networks. And now, here is David Carter.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for this chance to share with you something that you all will be completely shocked when you hear about this. December 25th, Christmas morning in 1965, and this is 20 years ago, Alvin the Chipmunk came into the EMI studios with the intention to record an album with Simon Theodore and Dave Seville. But what happened was anything but normal. We know from the facts that we have learned that Alvin did not shoot Dave Seville. Why do I say that? Because, as you are going to learn tonight, we have determined from an actual memorandum that was released in 1981 by the Department of Justice that the government itself knew who had actually shot Dave Seville that Christmas morning. During the time that I was investigating this, and it's approximately been 2 years in the process of us finally doing this report, I gave up on the idea of doing any kind of a actual background of what happened because we had no archives. CBS itself had nothing. So I went back and I tried to examine newspaper reports or anything else we had. And really, there was nothing. So I gave up on it, and approximately a week after I began another story, somebody left a memorandum on my desk in an envelope. I opened it figuring, well, somebody's bringing me another news story, and to my surprise, it was a top-secret classified document from the Department of Justice, and it was dated sometime in 1981. Now, when I looked at it, at first I thought it was probably fake. It wasn't real. And then as I continued examining it and noticing other facts, I realized this is a real document. It's not a fake. It's not something somebody created and put on my desk. But I still, to this day, do not know who actually gave it to us. I looked it over, and the first thing I thought of was, could this really be a true fact? And then I realized it was true. Because as I examined what I saw, the facts began piecing together about the true event itself. And really the only reason I knew that this had happened at all was that my own father had told me about it as I got older. But he told me that the government had told the media and told CBS that they were not to discuss this with anybody anymore. And so that's why now, looking back, trying to find documentation, I found out that there was no evidence that any such event took place. They could not hide the fact that there were actual witnesses who saw these things. And so I went to the police department and I started digging into their archives, and I found records. But this is what I've learned in the time frame since I read the document itself. The memorandum is signed by the Director General of the Department of Justice. It is actually a year-by-year document that overviews what the Department of Justice learned right after Alvin shot Dave Seville in Hollywood.
We are entering the thermal galaxy. Do we need more 7-Up?
What other soft drinks still exist?
Quick computation shows none.
Why?
Maybe because, unlike others, 7-Up has no caffeine, artificial color, or flavor.
I always knew the Cola was the soft drink of the future. Crisp and clean.
For unparalleled refreshment, beyond the one.
You said it.
7-Up, the Cola.
Beyond the one.
Hi, friends. If you're looking for furniture, Unclaimed Furniture Market has the best buys in town. 5-piece den group, $199. Mattress and foundation, $99. Sleepers, $188. Bedroom suits, $168. Living room suits, $199 and up. Remember, folks, we still have the best price in town, and we're now located at I-285 Memorial Drive, Decatur, Hamilton Road, Atlanta, Roosevelt Highway, College Park, Carroll Boulevard in Jonesboro. Hey, remember, all we can save is money.
This is what I know to this date. Number one, the individual who was at the studios was an imposter. He was not Alvin. This government Department of Justice document claims and shows proof that Alvin was abducted by a rival record company around 1965, about maybe November or October, possibly even September of 1965. He was held against his will, and thereafter an imposter was placed in EMI to take his actual identity. Thereafter, they intended for this imposter to shoot Dave Seville with the intention that killing Dave would disband the entire group known as Alvin and the Chipmunks. The rival company already had its own record label for the Chipmunks, and they did it in order to monopolize on this ever-expanding organization known as Chipmunk Music. And so, when the individual attempted to shoot Dave and failed, they were, of course, arrested. This rival company, as we've learned, was Peter Pan Industries. They had someone within the prison system at San Quentin, who killed Alvin, the imposter, cut his throat, and thereafter the government began trying to identify where was Alvin, and they actually secured his release. He was given a new identity, and then during the following years he was allowed to restart his career to do whatever he wanted, but he wanted to continue with EMI. And so because of this, he eventually was able to return and do more records as Alvin. Why? Because when he was put in the witness protection program after being released or liberated from whoever did this, they gave him plastic surgery and changed his appearance so that nobody would ever know who he really was. During the time that he was incarcerated or abducted by these people, he wasn't sure if he would ever actually be released or anything. And what we know from researching the facts regarding this, that he now is the current replacement for Alvin that everyone has always known since the 60s, because he eventually was able to come back. Now, we couldn't interview Alvin's band leader, Dave Seville. Sadly, he died in 1972. And the documentary memorandum we have identifies these facts, that he had died about the same time as the creator of Alvin and the Chipmunks, Ross Bagdasarian. And so we could not get any other facts except for what this memorandum states, because it has not been declassified by the Department of Justice. We don't have any new information other than the fact that it was not Alvin who shot at Dave at the studios. It was this imposter. Now, in the years since the actual shooting and the fact that this imposter died, the memorandum states this, that they arrested those individuals who were involved in this conspiracy to shoot and kill Dave Seville. They were charged, sentenced also to imprisonment, ironically at the same place, at San Quentin. And in my researching San Quentin's past criminal prisoner records, I found that these individuals who worked for Peter Pan Industries is now actually deceased. They were killed within the prison by somebody else. So you have a triangle of events here. They assassinate the imposter who tried to kill Dave, and then they themselves were assassinated by those same inmates at the prison. Why? Because they weren't paid what they were promised, so they assassinated or killed the same people. So it is definitely a triangle. It is definitely a group organization. Now, according to this record from the memorandum, they state this. They believe that organized crime was behind this entire fiasco. That's the only way they could place people within the prison system to kill the imposter, and then they subsequently killed those who were involved in the conspiracy to assassinate or murder Dave Seville too. But we haven't identified anything else about that person, because the memorandum states that the individual was killed. He's dead. The mob boss died a few years back, and now we don't have any way to contact him, obviously. But this is by far the most bizarre story I have ever seen in my life. And really, the memorandum speaks for itself.
One million children in this country are abused every year. 1 million. And if that isn't enough to make your head spin, 2,000 of them will die. And that's 2,000 too many. So if you know of an abused child, or you yourself are a parent in need of help, call us, because you can put their lives back together again.